Cool Geeks Tribunal, eternal, forever.
Yo, Cool Geeks Tribunal. Shout out to the Tribunal. What's happening? Cups all the way up. Yeah, definitely. I'm saluting y'all with some eggnog today because, it's that time of the year. So eggnog season is in full effect. And, it's a treat. It's definitely a treat at this time of the year. I've always enjoyed that. Now, what I'm enjoying now, though, issue 2, Predator versus Wolverine. And like issue 1, fast paced, getting right to the action, more blood, more guts. We're learning more about Wolverine's history. We're figuring out how does this story fit into the main continuity of Marvel Comics, specifically Wolverine's mythos. And there's a portion of the story where it's making me kind of curious as to how they're trying to finagle this. Is this just a cool story where they're just giving it for the fans? Like, yo, that would be cool. Predator versus Wolverine. Let's see how the people, receive it. If it's a big hit, then yeah, maybe they'll squeeze it into the main continuity or something we didn't know. Or if it's not, if it loses traction over time, then it could just be like a cool one-off thing that they just did, few, issue miniseries that they did, and that's that. How would that work out with what Dark Horse Comics has done with the Predator stories in the past? And, how does that work out? I guess the companies, when they get to the boardroom, they figure all of that stuff out. But as for us who are just reading the story, enjoying the story, and just kind of taking it for what it is, it's a lot of fun. And they're picking up in present day Canada, and Wolverine is hurt again. Now, I don't really understand why he's taking so much damage to the Predator. Not sure if in the present day battle he's fighting like 20 Predators at this point. But for whatever reason, he's taking some damage. And as we see him go through different time periods in his history and he's fighting these Wolverines, it's like, well, I'm not fighting the Wolverines. He's fighting the Predators. He seems to be kind of figuring out, kind of handling it or whatever. So I'm just wondering, has the Predator made some adjustments over time to where now Wolverine is like really hurt? Because where the story picks up at is he's hanging off of a cliff. And as he hangs off this cliff, which is reminiscent of Arnold Schwarzenegger hanging off a cliff and, with a bunch of mud on him to cloak himself from the infrared vision that the Predator has, he's going through it right now. And he's trying to, talk to himself, and his healing factor's kicking in and everything. So he's listening out, trying to stay as still and quiet as possible to give his body a chance to get right. And he figures that the Predator stepped off. Predator might have stepped off for a minute, but the minute Wolverine feels decide to make a move, some big old rock falls down, and it brings attention to him. Predator sends some stuff at him, some weapons at him. Wolverine cuts those up, falls off the cliff into the water. And we learn that Wolverine has a problem with being under the water because his skeleton is so heavy on his adamantium lace skeleton. So he could swim and he's strong. Even I don't think he's like on a Spider-Man level of strength, or certainly not Thor and a Hulk. But he's probably peak human strength, as strong as a man can possibly be. Maybe a little bit more than that, sort of in a Captain America realm. But he is, admitting that he can't, that's a problem for him, having to, battle underwater, swim around with the weight of the skeleton on him, which I'm kind of surprised that was acknowledged. So, and I never really thought about Wolverine drowning, like that he could die from drowning, because he pretty much seems immortal because he's gotten burnt up to a crisp where it was just a skeleton on him, left on him, and he's regenerated. So it's kind of interesting to see how this whole thing is, shaping up with him or whatever. But anyway, the predator's trying to come up on him underwater. They cut from there, go into back into the 60s in the jungle in South America. We have Team X that's looking very much like on the Schwarzenegger squad from Predator Part 1, the movie. And Wolverine, Sabretooth is acting like and it's like the machine gun that spins like that. And Wolverine is trying to tell him, Maverick, everybody else, like, yo, let's back up. Not because they're punks, but really because this opponent is different. So Wolverine recognizes that, and he's trying to tell him to fall back. They're not listening. He's trying to tell Maverick there's not going to be a firefight, and Maverick just wants to shoot. Sabretooth again shooting. The predator jumps, one of the predators jumps behind him because, again, they not just, as we mentioned from the first video about issue 1, it's not just one predator. It's not just 2, it's not just 3, it's not just 4. It's like 5 of them that came after him. So now he's in the jungle dealing with this. And I'm thinking like, well, he's good because he got this crazy backup. This is Team X, right? Like they're a black ops team. They handle all the nasty missions, killing politicians and whoever else, mercenaries, assassins, the whole bit. They get busy. So, and it's Sabretooth for him. So he's going to definitely be able to handle some of these predators. Yeah, not so much. So anyway, Predator jumps down behind Sabretooth as he's letting all of these shots off. And when he's doing that, the Predator sticks this like spear through him, through his back, and it looks like Sabretooth is done, like he's dead. And I know he has the healing factor like Wolverine, so I'm not really sure like how he's getting taken out so quickly, but this is what's happening. So Sabretooth turns around. He's big. He's like a big version of Wolverine. So he like picks up the Predator and stabs him in his front the same way the Predator got him in the back and kills him, and they're both like dying and dead on the same off of the same spear. So Sabretooth, he's bloodthirsty, lot of bloodlust in him. He's wild, crazy, like I said, bigger version of Wolverine, but he doesn't have the moral compass that Wolverine has. But because it's supposed to be Predator versus Wolverine, I am kind of glad that they took Sabretooth out quickly. I'm surprised, but I'm glad because I believe it would have distracted from the whole battle between Predator versus Wolverine because they're too similar and he's bigger. So, it's like he should be able to get busy on these things too. But anyway, Sabretooth's out of there. Now, Jackson, the only female in their crew, they drop down this rope with, what I'm saying, and it's tied like a noose. So they wrap it around her neck, pull her up out of the tree into the trees in the jungle, and I'm thinking they're gonna hang her, but when she falls, it's only her body falls. Predator severs her head, takes her head clean off. And they got this thing with doing that because they also shoot another guy's head off like they did when they was in issue 1 and they shot the guy's head off. They hired Wolverine to go shoot up to go kill the guys that stole from him under false pretense that it was people that kidnapped his child. So they are definitely about making trophies out of their prey. And they take the head off, they skin them. We see more people being skinned and hung with holes in their body. It's just crazy right now. So Wolverine is trying to back up with Maverick. And Maverick is just trying to shoot up everything, whatever. And as they're backing up, they go and find a little refuge someplace. and they're met by the people that they were actually on the mission to kill. Team X was on the mission to kill, and Wolverine's ready to pop his claws on the general of those people, and the guy's like, "Yo, hold up, we got a common enemy right now. We could get back to our stuff later if it's got to go down like that, but right now, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So we're going to have to team up to handle this." So Wolverine agrees, retracts the claws. They try to figure this whole thing out. The Predator's been tearing through, these soldiers from South America's men like nothing, just tearing through them. And he continues to tear through them. There's an explosion. Some of them get, blown up. And they're also trying to blow up the Predators. So we thinking that the Predators are going to be handled. They're going to be able to handle this explosion. So they get blown up, and all of this debris, rocks, everything, whatever, falls on them. We see that the Predator's still moving his hand, so he's really not done yet. And he's just not dead. Now we cut to not present day, but a little further in the future into another part of Wolverine's life and what's going on with him. And at this point, the Predator's pulling up on him at this juncture of his life during the Weapon X project. So during the Weapon X project, this is where Wolverine, as any comic book fan knows, as any Wolverine X-Men fan knows, this is where Wolverine got the metal laced to his skeleton, the adamantium. So as it pulls up on him and it's taking people out of the facility, killing people on their way to finding them, the Predator, we see him standing over Wolverine as he's laying, either about to get the adamantium laced to his skeleton, or he just got it laced to his skeleton. Now, this is why and where I was questioning about, is this whole Predator thing going to be a part of the main continuity, or is this just a story that they just decided to tell because they thought it would be fun? When Wolverine gets up, he kind of kills like all of the soldiers, and there's not really many there. But he really kills Cornelius, the guy that's spearheading this project or this experiment on Wolverine. He kills him, and he goes out into the snow. After that, Wolverine ends up traveling around the world, and, he learns, martial arts and stuff like that. At some point, he gets picked up and gets down with Alpha Flight. He does that. Then he comes across the Hulk, and with Wendigo up there in Canada. And then from that point, at some point, he ends up on all of these little sidebar missions and ultimately ends up becoming an X-Man. What are they doing with this story? Why is Wolverine struggling in present day? Because this is where issue 2 ends. And issue 3 is promised to be even crazier. Cups up.
Within us all live a Superman. Within our souls to survive. Don't you wish you were Superman?